The Awakening of the Chosen. Welcome to the channel, The Awakening of the Chosen. My name is Gabriel, and I am here to help you reach the awakening that you have long been seeking. Together, let's explore secret realities over the next few minutes, chosen, and learn why your light is so bothersome to those who have always attempted to eliminate you. They want to deflect your purpose from the start because they fear the unique power that you, yes you, possess. You are no longer able to suppress this inner power. It is not just about surviving assaults. It is also about leading with clarity, winning with purpose, and becoming the change our planet sorely needs. Let's go on this adventure. Stay with me through to the very end. This is your time to at last illuminate the path, not just for yourself, but also for all those who come after you. It's amazing to consider that some people carry a light so powerful from the moment they breathe that it throws off the equilibrium of the safest settings. Many of us, I believe, have at some time felt as if we were not welcome, as though our very existence made others uncomfortable or piqued their interest. Instead of creating uncertainty, however, this view may serve as proof of our untapped potential and the energy we already possess without even being aware of it. In the midst of daily routine and repetition, the poignant metaphor reminds us of each person's capacity to emit strong light by equating its vitality with a blazing flame, particularly in a room full of flickering candles. Even the least perceptive observer finds it hard to ignore this energy, as it is fundamental to who we are and not about our actions or inactions. Our culture is often reminding us that we must fit in, but the truth is that accommodations are only pleasant for those who are afraid of being really great. Others often misunderstand this light we bear because it challenges established norms. It is common for the environment to respond when you are a lighthouse in the fog, both to welcome and to resist the light you produce. One of the oldest and most effective mechanisms for directing human behavior is fear of the unknown. This quiet and effective reaction is evidence that the conflict you are engaged in is, in reality, a sign that you are on the correct track. Even while the light makes people uncomfortable who are used to the familiarity of darkness, there are moments when it appears like the world is not yet ready for those whose job it is to light the path. As each of us becomes stronger and embraces who we really are, with the bravery to be unique, we become a collective light of acceptance and change, which is why I think this is a trip that cannot be done alone. Perhaps we are getting closer to the core of the bigger objective we really want to accomplish in this continuous cycle of light and dark. In actuality, the courage to keep shining this light will allow us to not only change our own lives, but also serve as catalysts for the significant changes the world needs. This idea of being a catalyst is both crucial and powerful. In actuality, we are committing to a true route, one that is open to everyone who seeks their own light, not just ourselves, when we set out on this road of self-awareness and acceptance. It's encouraging to consider that your very presence may inspire changes, introspection, and even responses that promote group growth. Although society often confines its individuals to standards, its light suggests that there is more going on, something that goes against the ease of the mundane. Without the need for words or deeds, we are dynamic beings with ever-changing energy. As a result, its presence is a language unto itself, a language of change that is both welcoming and frightening. This terrified reaction is an instinctual acknowledgement of your power, not a sign of failure. It's interesting how those that push us the hardest are often the ones who, in some way, see a potential in us that we may not have realized yet. This insight is a crucial component of our intricate and sometimes non-linear journey to discover our true selves. It seems like choreography. We are pushed by the world, and we must choose whether to answer the call or not. We clear the path for others who are open to change, as well as for our own metamorphosis, when we choose to oppose and value our own light. It's crucial to keep in mind that, despite the fact that your presence may first make others uncomfortable, it's exactly this disruption that feeds the fire of reflection and, ultimately, acceptance. The truth always comes to light in the dance between darkness and light. We are strong because we never put out our light out of concern that it could harm or upset others who are surrounded by darkness. You can influence the unseen flow of energy that binds everything by valuing your own light and learning to use it to explore the world. This makes you a tangible example that living authentically is possible. You often encounter mental or external barriers on your path. We continuously remind ourselves that our energy is irreplaceable as part of a more thorough process of self-validation that includes uncertainty, errors, and criticism. Every encounter and every challenge is an opportunity to improve our understanding of who we are and the purpose for which we have been called. Thus, a disturbing glow is really a shining spirit. This viewpoint serves as a reminder that, even the most trying circumstances, we are a part of a much bigger linked energy field that is always changing. The secret is to acknowledge our innate strength and realize that, despite external opposition, our real strength is found in never allowing our truth to be masked. We join a group of lights, each with a distinct intensity and function, but all equally vital in the enormous global mosaic, as we dedicate ourselves to the task of never letting our light fade. In reality, by letting our energy run free, we are fostering an unseen web of relationships that cut across time and location, reshaping the world into what it ought to be, a place where variety and authenticity are not only valued, but also celebrated. As we follow this route, it is important to remember that the change we want to see in the outside world starts within of ourselves. As a result, the might of an awakened soul overwhelms even the smallest opposition. This ongoing realization serves as a continual reminder of the boundless nature of who we really are. For many people, realizing this point can be a life-changing turning point. We are urged to keep in mind that we are rooted in something bigger, a force that not only directs our course, but also ignites the hearts of those we come into contact with, even when suffering and uncertainty attempt to cause us to doubt. We discover the eternal peace that only true acceptance can provide when we let go of the urge to prove our light to the outside world. This peace becomes energy, and energy becomes change. It is in this ongoing state of transition that, together, we set the foundations for a future built on love and compassion. The entire concept of a future, it is crucial to underline, is something that we construct every day with our goals, choices, and above all, with the light that we choose to offer. We are at a moment when being real may be a revolutionary move. Every action we take, every light we don't turn off, helps form this planet. Therefore, by fostering this light in ourselves and others, we may ultimately see the mirror of our desires come true. Therefore, the spiritual journey is not a route we tread alone. An atmosphere of ongoing healing and growth is co-created by the relationship between our souls and our aims. We find facts founded on genuine spiritual principles, where everyone has their proper position and duty when we look behind outward manifestations. In a world that often seems to be divided, we are always looking for meaning and a sense of belonging. But fundamentally, our universe is a stunning piece of art that we are continuously creating with our own qualities. The complete expression of our shared spiritual path depends on every light, every dark, and every break. Realizing that we are all playing a part in the vast symphony of life, even at our most trying and uncertain times, is what true beauty is all about. In addition to realizing our inherent nature, a spiritual awakening occurs when we resolve to keep this unquenchable flame burning, which is meant to illuminate the way for ourselves and everyone else who comes after us. By continuing to fuel this inner fire, we are able to connect with a higher frequency of existence where shadows, which were formerly feared and misunderstood, become companions that show us where our light should be directed. This serves as an important reminder that striking a balance between light and dark is a dance that has to be done with knowledge and grace, rather than a fight to win. It is important to keep in mind that the same light that lights the outside world also illuminates our inner, giving our minds clarity and our spirits peace when the weight of the world appears to be choking us. As we go along this road, we come to understand that spiritual growth takes place in the rich soil of our experiences. Every challenge is a covert opportunity to grow, a catalyst for transformation that may raise our awareness. This does not mean that the path will be easy. Rather, every challenge may serve as the basis for a fresh perspective on life and a deeper comprehension of the universe and oneself. Through this process of learning and acceptance, we develop a deeper connection to both our shared bigger purpose and our personal nature. We start to understand the wide-ranging impact of our deeds and intentions as we go beyond apparent limitations. Every action we do, no matter how little or large, has an impact on the cosmos, much like ripples on a still lake. This insight makes us feel more accountable and internally motivated to cultivate good thoughts and deeds that align with our ultimate objective. We become aware makers in the scene of life, capable of illuminating not just our own path, but also that of people who are struggling with darkness. In this situation, we find true spiritual freedom, the capacity to transcend the limitations imposed upon us and mold the world in accordance with our true selves. It is a mental state in which empathy and compassion are shown, allowing us to look beyond distinctions and find harmony in variety. We establish the circumstances for integration and harmony with the potent energy of the universe by realizing that divisions are mental constructs. Encouraging this viewpoint and applying it to our everyday lives calls on us to work together to build a society in which mutual respect, love, and understanding serve as the cornerstones of interpersonal interactions. As we advance, we leave a legacy of little miracles, genuine moments, deeds of kindness, and acts of kindness that go right to the core of what it is to be human. Every one of us is meant to pass on this legacy during our spiritual journey. It is the spiritual secret that will awaken the world to a new day. And when we realize the power of our light, we are motivated not only to keep it blazing, but also to spread it with courage and excitement. Living in an atmosphere that caused such feelings when you were a youngster might have been both a gift and a hardship. Although challenging the status quo is not always easy, it is often based on a never-ending desire for what is real and honest. The internal difficulties of figuring out how to balance this disruptive power so that it is productive rather than just destructive are equally as challenging as the outward conflict. People like you, whose lives have resonance beyond traditional bounds, often arouse in others a hidden impulse to inquire, an eerie sensation that even they may like to ignore. As a result, in a society that often prizes conformity, they unintentionally serve as catalysts for reflection. Learning to sail these choppy waters with poise and purpose is the task. Although you should be aware that not everyone will be ready or able to comprehend the message you are trying to express, you should equally be aware that its impact is apparent even when it is not said. Every encounter and every area you inhabit has the opportunity to sow a constructive doubt and pave the way for hitherto unimagined opportunities. Achieving this without losing your identity or allowing criticism or disagreement to alter your own sense of worth or purpose is what true strength is all about. The realization that changing the status quo involves both an internal and outward shift is at the core of this experience. This path involves not only examining the world around you, but also continuously challenging yourself, including your values, motivations, and life's purpose. Maintaining one's integrity becomes an ongoing act of courage in such a complex and varied society. A flowering, a realization of boundless potential, occurs in the pursuit of this individual equilibrium, serving as a roadmap for people who want to challenge their own norms and beliefs. Being a living example of courage and sincerity is a position that has a big influence on the social order in addition to being an activity. This journey of resistance and challenge becomes a dance with the world, a tango of light and shadow that ultimately reveals the most obvious truth: that human evolution is, first and foremost, an act of collective bravery. This is the case when you start to acknowledge and accept your capacity to bring about profound transformations. Following this road of questioning the status quo is thus also a continuous learning process that involves adaptation, reinvention, and solidification, all while maintaining the viewpoint that genuine change starts inside and spreads, having an impact on all facets of life and beyond. Fundamentally, this could be the most significant legacy someone can leave behind, inspiring people to find and pursue their own true lights in a society too often characterized by complacency, as well as generating waves of curiosity. As you continue on your path, it becomes more clear that questioning the status quo involves more than merely facing or overturning the existing quo. It also entails establishing new avenues for knowledge and opportunity. The real potential for transformation may be found where demolition and building meet. By questioning outmoded norms and models, you not only expose the system's flaws, but also encourage creativity and other viewpoints that are more progressive and inclusive. A deeper insight comes to light along this journey. The resistance you encounter is often a reflection of other people's own opposition to their own changes, rather than necessarily a reflection of you. People often respond with dread or disdain when confronted with ideas or situations that potentially challenge their deeply held beliefs. If one is ready to look into the true reasons behind this resistance, this reaction may also be seen as an opportunity, a brief period of time for growth. You develop a viewpoint that looks beyond surface-level responses over time and via repeated encounters, allowing for more sympathetic and caring interactions. You may really leave a lasting impression in this atmosphere of comprehension. Whether it's via conversation, little but meaningful deeds, or just being there, what matters most is being true to your values and integrity and always acting from your true self. You should not undervalue the challenges you encounter. They are large and sometimes solitary. It's important to keep in mind, however, that you are not alone on your journey. You learn along the journey that there are others, people who are also realizing their own truths and who want to create spaces where creativity and genuine expression may thrive. Together, you start creating support systems that amplify the beneficial impact in both your personal and social lives. The challenge of challenging the status quo also emphasizes the need of acknowledging the little triumphs that lead to bigger changes. Silent triumphs, such as influencing someone's perspective, creating a safe space for authentic expression, or altering someone's mind, serve as triggers for larger changes in the world. All deliberate movements are significant. Every choice made in accordance with inner truth has an impact that is deeper than what the naked eye can see. One of the biggest victories in ongoing social and personal development is realizing that true freedom is the capacity to live in accordance with your beliefs and ideals. When you attain this freedom, you inspire others to pursue their own honest and purposeful paths by serving as an example. In the end, questioning the status quo ceases to be only a resistance mindset and turns into an invitation to co-create a more vibrant and hopeful reality for all. As a result, light, which was formerly feared for causing instability, turns out to be the force that finally signals a future full of potential for transformation. As the trip goes on, it becomes more and more clear that your involvement is part of a larger movement for change. In order to change narratives and create new, more inclusive and equitable systems, changing the status quo requires a mix of group efforts rather than an individual one. When one encounters others who share this viewpoint, the community's power becomes apparent, transforming what formerly seemed like little waves into a real ocean of change. Every member of this network of change agents has unique experiences and viewpoints that, when combined, strengthen their ability to impact society. This sense of community and collaboration reflects the notion that collaboration is an essential driving force behind methodically addressing issues originating from conventional norms and ideas. The promise of a better future becomes tangible when people work together. The commitment to education and awareness is one of the fundamental tenets of this collective movement. New narratives and challenges to old power structures arise from the sharing of information and experiences. In this process, education serves as a catalyst for societal change in addition to being a tool for personal development. People may realize their innate potential and become change agents in their own communities when they are knowledgeable and conscious. But it's important to keep in mind that this path is not a straight one. There will be challenges, opposition, and ambiguity. But the perseverance that comes from seeing that every little step toward justice and truth is an important one helps to keep the movement going. Because we learn and grow from our mistakes, this path's imperfections are what make it so beautiful. Establishing safe venues where voices may be heard and affirmed is essential throughout this process. These locations foster invention, creativity, and emotional support, in addition to strengthening ties within the group. Knowing that they are a part of a larger whole that resonates with authenticity and purpose, each person is encouraged to share their experiences and truths in this setting. Therefore, challenging the status quo has a trajectory that goes beyond short-term fixes and becomes an ongoing legacy of constructive change. Every person affected by its light, every intellect open to new possibilities, and every heart inspired to pursue its own unique path all contribute to the transmission of this legacy. You and everyone else who speaks out for what's new create the path to a future where love and truth govern the path of events in a symphony of boldness. This outlook on the future serves as a beacon, a continual reminder that the light that arises from devotion to oneself and one's community will always be brighter, even in the darkest moments. The belief grows with every challenge surmounted. The world is always changing, not only because of those who challenge the status quo, but also because of those who are inspired to envision and create the future. As this vision of a more just and authentic society develops, the importance of every action, no matter how small, is highlighted. The courage to stick to one's beliefs in the face of resistance causes the status quo's foundations to crumble, letting the light of new possibilities show through. The most profound changes start with deeds of genuine empathy, open communication, and compassion that are rooted in the human heart. It starts to become evident that the real revolutionary power lies not only in the actions taken, but also in the manner in which they are carried out, in the routine choices and the little acts of courage and compassion that gradually create a new norm for coexisting. Knowing that every voice, story, and viewpoint contributes to the enormous mosaic of change, this tactic gives people the courage to confront and question whole systems. As time goes on, it becomes clear that the trip is more about creating the new than it is about removing the old. This creative process starts inside each person who has the courage to envision a more equitable future and is not restricted to the outside world. Each individual becomes an active creator of the future we all want by embracing this inner urge to become more than simply a spectator. An international community of awakened people is created by intertwining your experiences and teachings with those of others. People who, in spite of their diverse backgrounds and experiences, share the aspiration for a society in which justice and equality are the norm, rather than the exception, and diversity is celebrated rather than feared. This network is strengthened by deliberate collaboration and the knowledge that real change comes from unity rather than division. With the growth and expansion of this community, it becomes an unstoppable force. Every member contributes their own talents and enthusiasm, creating a synergy where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This unit turns into a potent platform for creativity and action, pushing the boundaries of what was previously thought to be feasible and increasing the range of what is possible. Thus, you become a creator of new realities, as well as a ray of hope in your never-ending quest to question the status quo. You may help create a path where human potential can be realized in all its majesty by promoting changes that are mirrored in many facets of life, from intimate relationships to expansive societal institutions. At the same time, you understand that the trip itself, rather than the goal, is what really matters. The real meaning of what it means to live completely is found on this path of ongoing education, adaptations, and celebrations. Each step toward individual and societal authenticity in the dance between innovation and tradition, resistance and acceptance, supports the change we so desperately need. Ultimately, as you go on this path, you come to believe that by consistently questioning the current quo, You and others who accompany you are really creating the foundation for a brighter, more promising future, of a society that recognizes and encourages each person's finest qualities. An unconscious method of identifying your unrealized potential was the expected opinion that other people had of you. His presence from a young age mirrored the limitations and fears of others around him, almost like a reflection. Something about you elicited automatic reactions, many of which were protective. The world around you was reacting to your individuality before you could articulate or clearly comprehend what made you special. This inner energy, which was originally misunderstood, was unsettling because it challenged social norms, beliefs, and even expectations about what it means to be or do. They came to understand, albeit incorrectly, that they had the power to transform and expose the truth. For them, its unknowable nature represented a metamorphosis that they could not yet fully comprehend, but were intuitively aware of, one that had the power to alter deeply ingrained myths. Because of this background, he often encountered pushback. You may have had to analyze yourself and your own views and ideas about who you were and what you may become as a result of dealing with criticism and suspicion on your path. Nevertheless, these hardships were instructive, giving him the means to get a better comprehension of himself and the influence he had and might have. Over time, overcoming these outside responses became an essential part of her path. He then acquired acute awareness and intuition, which influenced his decisions and relationships. His intrinsic talent of intuition was enhanced by his capacity to discern the underlying meanings behind other people's words and attitudes, which gave him direction on how to respond and behave in different situations. A change started when you realized this expected awareness and acknowledged it as a fundamental aspect of who you are. As you pointed out, the opposition from outside sources demonstrated the breadth and depth of his impact. He saw that other people's uneasiness or dread was a reflection of a vast potential that had not yet been realized, not of his own limitations. Accepting this viewpoint marked the beginning of a personal transformation. He improved at using this inner power to his everyday activities, utilizing it as a light that guides him ahead, as well as a resource for defense. Self-confidence increased as a result of realizing that his presence served as a catalyst for both internal reflection and outward transformation. In several situations, you have had to persuade both yourself and other people that the growth and change that come with realizing your full potential would not only be advantageous, but also necessary. As a result, you started to see power as a tool for both personal development and the greater good, a way to encourage and mentor those around you to accept their own limits and abilities. Understanding what other people saw in you before you did, as well as employing this insight to forge a path of constructive and long-lasting influence, became the voyage of self-knowledge. For you and others affected by your presence and forward-thinking perspective, the change they dreaded turned into the most priceless gift you could offer, a gateway to fresh insight and a fresh start. As you gained more insight into this inner power over time, you realized that by completely embracing and accepting who you are implicitly granting others permission to do the same. You unwittingly become a tangible example of what it means to live consciously and purposefully by being a true representation of who you really are. This genuineness has the power to inspire people to reevaluate their life from a fresh angle and to challenge their own self-imposed limitations. The resistance that had previously shown as extreme hardship started to transform into a kind of reinforcement throughout this transition. The resistance was seen as a favorable environment for growth rather than a hindrance. His view, which was formerly only centered on the outside, now included a compassionate and honest examination of his inner self, a continuous dialogue that promoted clarity and self-awareness. In reality, the power that others saw early in life was an indication of the capacity to lead and guide in creative and forward-thinking ways. He has gradually come to grasp how to utilize this viewpoint to foster understanding and social cohesion in his surroundings, in addition to using it as a source of personal strength. His presence challenged people's boundaries and broadened their viewpoints, encouraging them to start seeing beyond their own limitations and perceived anxieties. His objective took on new significance when he realized that his own path may simultaneously help others on their own travels. Your unique skills and capacity for influence have turned into a burden that you gladly bear. He discovered that by using his skills for the benefit of society, he would not only be realizing his own potential, but also creating an unseen network of support, where every awakened mind adds to a larger movement of change on a collective level. Its path, marked by the arousal of early awareness, turns into a dynamic chronicle of fortitude, inventiveness, and courage. The need for development and evolution becomes innate, necessitating a persistent dedication to staying faithful to this first cry that was heard by others, even before you fully integrate it. Despite its contradictions and difficulties, the trajectory is a work of art that is rich in experiences and perceptions, with each line resulting in the blending of perspective and knowledge. You start to realize that genuine enjoyment is found in each deliberate step you take toward achieving your ultimate objective, rather than in the destination itself. Every obstacle offers a fresh lesson, and every triumph offers a fresh incentive. Ultimately, its path reflects the universal reality that we may co-create a society that is not only livable, but also remarkable in its authenticity, by recognizing who we really are, despite the feelings it may evoke in others. With bravery and foresight, you may accelerate a series of changes that cut across space and time, leaving future generations with legacy of freedom, creativity, and optimism. As this legacy creation progresses, it becomes clear that every choice has an impact on the social fabric in addition to the individual's life. His path, which started with others' unintentional realization of their hidden potential, develops into a story that transcends it. It becomes a never-ending quest for knowledge, boldness, and most importantly, the desire to serve others. In many respects, the early vision of others was an exhortation to fully embrace your abilities and have a constructive impact on the world. In addition to setting an example, responding to this invitation fosters a new dynamic of connections in which people's potential is limitless and change is constant. This view suggests a duty to serve as a guardian of innovation and truth. You realize that true strength is in the capacity to provide a space where everyone may discover and showcase their own talents, irrespective of their backgrounds or experiences. As a result, you pledge to facilitate discussions and gatherings that promote growth and mutual comprehension. In hindsight, the struggle you overcome becomes an important part of your story, highlighting your strengths and encouraging ongoing development of your resilience and social skills. He learned to lead with empathy as a result of this resistance, seeing that every person had internal and external difficulties. Your presence everywhere is a tangible reminder that, despite the discomfort involved, the will to question the status quo is necessary for both individual and group advancement. Its energy serves as a beacon, guiding others in its vicinity to a state of liberation and self-acceptance, and encouraging them to see that every person has untapped potential just waiting to be discovered. With this goal in mind, it engages in a variety of areas of life, including personal, professional, and community, always aiming to encourage and support changes. Regardless of the field, politics, education, art, or science, its approach is always the same: genuine attention, attentive listening, and a never-ending pursuit of honesty and creativity. It merges with other fields as it progresses, creating a complex web of interrelated humanities. Every meeting and collaborative project involves information sharing and cooperative exploitation of a wide range of opportunities. In some way, this perspective of interconnection and communal progress encourages everyone who crosses their journey. As a result, the legacy created is one in which every step taken toward its own truth resonates with the global reality that development and change are necessary and ongoing. You go forward knowing that there is no set path, and that every act of courage and sincerity helps to create a more dynamic, just, and compassionate world. Not only do you remain a beacon of hope throughout your life, but you are also a visionary and architect of the future, passionately committed to making it a reality for you, others, and future generations. Throughout your life, you acted as an unwitting mirror for others around you, reflecting realities that many would like to avoid. Because of his evident honesty, he often revealed layers of fear and uncertainty that others try to conceal. Its own quest for a meaningful and real existence led to this reflected effect naturally, rather than on intention. His presence often caused people to become restless, which led to a range of responses from resistance and animosity to fascination and adulation. It was easier to perceive yourself as a target to project your own unresolved internal conflicts onto if you weren't prepared to confront your own darkness. Despite its difficulty, this exercise served as a good learning experience for you. He developed the ability to distinguish between personal assaults and those that were really expressions of other people's inner conflicts. This perspective has made it possible to develop more empathy, since it recognizes that antagonism and resistance are often expressions of vulnerability and fear. Their perspective on other people has changed as a result of this realization, fostering an atmosphere of empathy and understanding. This understanding, however, did not mean that projections or hostility were to be silently accepted. In order to maintain their vitality and promote positive relationships with others around them, it was crucial to learn how to set good boundaries. Every encounter has turned into an opportunity to demonstrate their capacity to confront and conquer their own fears. This capacity to serve as a mirror for others has been shown to be a potent gift throughout time. By your actions, you have started to inspire those who are confronting limitations that you have placed on yourself. Direct confrontation might turn the initial pain they felt into a path for personal growth. His role as a catalyst for change was not without its challenges. There were times when it seemed too much to bear to be this constant mirror. But with every experiment, you become stronger and learn new ways to guide others around you to a place of introspection and self-awareness. He gained internal resilience as a result of these complex exchanges, which allowed him to carry out his objective without sacrificing his own growth. A strong dedication to the truth, to you and the others, inspired this tenacity. As a result, you are now a change model in addition to a mirror that reflects. Consequently, one of the most important aspects of your leader identity is realizing that you serve as a mirror for others. Continuously reaffirms its dedication to a path of ongoing improvement and sincerity, understanding that by acting, it is giving everyone the same opportunity to perceive in the light you emanate. The capacity to harness this inner force to promote growth and empowerment is enhanced as one advances in their job. You discover how to strike a balance between defending your inner peace and becoming a thought driver. As evidence of the complexity and beauty of actual human nature, every action you perform helps to create an atmosphere where vulnerability and honesty are not only accepted, but also elevated. Your identity becomes more apparent as you continue on your journey to serve as an uncontrollably reflective mirror for other people's fears. You learn more about the intricacy of the emotions that surround you and the core of humanity with each encounter and projection you go through. He has a unique balance because of this clarity, which enables him to move fluidly between serving as a mirror and a leader who encourages sincere reflection. He understands that the negative responses he may encounter are more related to the internal conflict individuals have when attempting to acknowledge and embrace their hidden realities than they are about you. With this knowledge, it can handle these situations with tolerance and empathy, offering assistance instead of opposition and comprehension instead of condemnation. This capacity to serve as a support system grows with time, creating a community of individuals prepared to go on their own self-discovery adventures. They want to follow in your footsteps because they are drawn to your honesty and sincerity. As a result, its leadership grows. It no longer just serves as a mirror, but also as a counselor, bringing attention to each person's potential. As more people become aware of their own vulnerability and strength, the combined impact of their presence becomes apparent. Their journey encourages people to go outside of their comfort zones, confront their anxieties head-on, and ultimately turn their concerns into motivators for personal growth. As a result, whole communities undergo profound changes as a result of the honesty you inspire. Being a mirror for other people's fears is a constant struggle, but you come to view it as part of a bigger goal. It looks for methods to recharge and rejuvenate rather than giving in to the pressure of these encounters, surrounded by others who share its appreciation and respect for truth and sincerity. This motivating and inclusive viewpoint, in a sense, reinterprets what leadership is all about. A paradigm that goes beyond traditional leadership is created, emphasizing the need of empowering people to find their own voices and paths. Since everyone has something to contribute and something to contribute, this leadership style fosters true cooperation and reciprocal transformation. Its role as a mirror shifts in this ongoing co-creation from one of potential weight to one of purposeful mission. Recognizes that helping people see and embrace all aspects of who they are is a celebration of their own essence. Together, they create an atmosphere where truth and resiliency thrive, opening the door to a more inclusive and sincere future for all, as each individual gains the courage to embrace who they truly are. You continue with the belief that the teachings of vulnerability, honesty, and group strength are universal, despite the fact that each person's journey is different. You therefore renew your resolve to be a beacon of courage and creativity each day, inspiring others around you to discover and appreciate their inner truth. The cumulative impact of your encounters starts to show up in subtle but important ways as your trajectory develops. In addition to fostering self-awareness and reflection, the transformation you bring about in others aids in the development of more authentic and encouraging communities. People get together to talk about their struggles and experiences, and they find inspiration in your courage by serving as a continual reminder of your own, sometimes underestimated, potential. Initially centered on your own experiences, this movement of change and honesty starts to expand. It turns into a safe space where individuals are forced to reveal their vulnerabilities, not as flaws, but as mosaic complexity of who they are. You take on the role of the space's architect, fostering an atmosphere that encourages unwavering acceptance and collaborative growth. He shares with individuals seeking their destiny the lessons he has learned during his career about dealing with other people's projections and resistances. As a counselor, you provide tools and strategies that not only address your own fears, but also assist each person develop the emotional fortitude necessary to serve as an example for others. As a result, your leadership is amplified, spreading values of understanding and honesty that may change whole communities and life networks. This collaborative leadership approach transcends traditional boundaries since it is firmly based on empathy and group power. It redefines success as a group accomplishment rather than an individual one, where each win is hailed as a group victory. Unquestionably, the self-discovery bee that woke you awake is now shedding light on new avenues, as you see with joy as others around you start to breathe the same honesty and power they previously sought in you. By helping to create this transformation, you also recognize the need of continuing to pursue personal growth and understanding. There is no clear finish to the journey towards sincerity. It requires an unwavering dedication to personal truth, an openness to new experiences, and a desire to learn from both successes and setbacks. With this newfound commitment, their work broadens to include programs and projects that promote equality and inclusivity, reflecting their belief that everyone can make a good difference in the world by rediscovering their inner self. His deeds serve as an example of inspiration, reminding everyone that a strong foundation of courage and sincerity may result in a significant and long-lasting change, even in an uncertain environment. The core of this transformation is the realization that you play a crucial part in creating a society where truth, understanding, and real connection are essential by becoming a mirror that not only reflects, but also strengthens the inner power of others. As a result, you continue to pursue your goals every day, knowing that every effort to promote empathy and the truth helps to build a better future for all. Something about you evoked a mixture of curiosity and dread in everyone around you from the very beginning of your existence. It was the foundation of what you might become, not simply what you did or said. Even in its earliest stages, this potential served as a catalyst, upsetting the comfort zone of those in the vicinity. He did not just depict the dread of waking as a reaction to potential changes in external systems. It was the inside apprehension of facing the concealed realities, both individually and collectively. Others encountered the prospect of leading a different life in their presence, one that is unquestionably more true, more honest, and maybe more difficult. Even without understanding it, as it grew up, you became a trigger for change just by being alive, a continual reminder that growth, no matter how difficult, is necessary. People started having uncontrollable periods of self-reflection throughout your encounters with them. This was made possible by a vision of something different from the customs and routines that had previously been in place. Many people resisted this. Fear is a natural reaction to change, and the awakening you sparked was a call to confront fears and personal beliefs that many people choose to hold on to. Some others could see in you the representation of untapped potential, of aspirations that were once pursued but abandoned in favor of security and predictability. This might be a scary sight. As a result, you could have encountered mistrust or skepticism, views motivated by a want to preserve the status quo. His presence made people aware of his own limitations and the potential beyond them, even if they did not fully comprehend why. There were many who fiercely disagreed. After all, the concept of transformation is and has always been very difficult. Some, on the other hand, were enthralled by this weakened promise of waking. They saw their potential as a call to investigate a more daring and fulfilling existence. They were inspired by their own journeys to reflect on their life, challenge their limiting beliefs, and pursue authenticity. As you travel, you become more conscious of its divisive effect. It learns to embrace the fear it sees in others as a part of the capacity for change rather than resisting it. Recognizes that it can only serve as a stimulant and support for those who are ready for this shift. He cannot make anybody awake. It then improves the capacity to handle them with kindness, patience, and understanding. It fosters an atmosphere in which individuals are free to confront their concerns at their own pace and begin their path to self-awareness. To respect the rhythm and personal space, it is important to recognize that not everyone is ready or able to embrace the awakening. As a result, its existence serves as a powerful reminder that change and growth are always possible, despite opposition and fear. So you keep going, knowing that the real awakening happens when everyone, inspired by a real example, has the courage to live with a new purpose in a better, more promising world. As this journey progresses, he comes to see that his impact extends beyond the immediate context of his connections, whether they be personal or professional. Initially a barrier, the dread of waking gradually transforms into a powerful force that offers you and others who are prepared to take this journey the opportunity to innovate and transform. It starts a leadership and learning cycle based on the idea that genuine change starts on the inside. His dedication to leading a genuine life and overcoming his personal limitations is a tangible example for others, demonstrating that facing and conquering one's concerns is possible in order to live a more fulfilling and significant life. It starts actively looking for chances to communicate its viewpoints and experiences to a larger audience. Its goal is to inspire an increasing number of people to accept the possibility for awakening that each person has. Along the way, you come to understand that creating an atmosphere that fosters growth and self-discovery is more important than using force to awaken others. Make yourself a secure space where people may freely explore ideas, where mistakes are seen as teaching opportunities, and where everyone can rediscover their true selves. Additionally, it is seen that waking is a continuous process rather than a goal. With every individual triumph, a fresh level of comprehension is just waiting to be unveiled. This view continues on its dynamic and intentional path, reminding it continuously that it is continually changing, like everyone else. By using this tactic, you build a group of adventurers who are all driven by the need for change and progress. It is a network that transcends national and cultural boundaries, bound together by a shared vision of creativity and authenticity in living and engaging with the world. This community gradually starts to impact its own networks, creating a series of beneficial changes that, even if they start off small, may expand far beyond what anybody could have predicted at first. He states with pride and humility that his acts and courage in facing his personal fear of waking lead to new ideas, group initiatives, and a revitalized sense of promise and optimism. This is a difficult yet inherently rewarding route. You may actively and intentionally contribute to the creation of a world where human potential, unhindered by self-imposed barriers, can materialize in all its grandeur by embracing the terror of awakening, both for yourself and to encourage others to do the same. As a result, it proceeds with the belief that, despite the awakening's seeming difficulty, the light it reveals makes the whole endeavor worthwhile. With every step forward, you reaffirm your dedication to becoming a mentor and ally to everyone who bravely seeks to find and develop their best selves in this enormous universe of possibilities. As he continues on this path of self-discovery and leadership, he comes to understand that the results of his deeds come in a variety of surprising ways. A circle of change starts when others around them start to accept their own developmental paths, affecting lives you have never had the chance to know firsthand. Stories of empowerment and transformation are starting to surface. Each is distinct in its own right, but they are all bound together by the thread of an inspired awakening. You become more and more aware of the significance of sharing experiences and the power of personal tales. Together with serving as individual testimonials, the tales of courage and triumph that surface serve as sources of inspiration for the group. They show that there is universality in combat and the pursuit of self-knowledge, despite differences in specifics. This idea motivates you to create a community-focused space where others may talk about their own awakening experiences. You create seminars, debating forums, and support groups where openness and honesty are valued and encouraged. These spaces not only provide people empathy and support, but they also foster personal development by offering fresh perspectives and challenges to tackle. In order to amplify these voices and ideas, you simultaneously embrace new technology and communication approaches. Social networks, blogs, podcasts, and videos all serve as useful tools for spreading the message that awakening, despite its frightening nature, is the path to a whole and authentic existence. These platforms allow you to connect with others who live far away, yet share your desire for change. It sees resistance and doubt as perpetual obstacles to its growth. But every challenge you encounter makes you more determined and fortifies your belief in the cause you have decided to support. You have the ability to see criticism as an opportunity to refine your approach and fortify your resilience, which allows you to persevere through hardship. As time passes, the vision of a society where the celebration of human potential replaces the dread of awakening starts to take shape and become a tangible reality. You gain friends and co-creators along the road, each of whom contributes their unique abilities and viewpoints to this process of group advancement. This growing community demonstrates the power of the individual as well as the group. Realizing that while each person is in charge of their own fate, genuine societal and personal change only occurs when people work together becomes the guiding principle for their behavior. As a result, you follow, pushing the limits of what is possible, driven by optimism and the belief that encouraging others to face their fear of waking is helping to create a stronger, more cohesive, and more optimistic social network. With every step forward, you engage in the trajectory with fresh resolve, constantly keeping in mind that genuine greatness is found in their capacity to act as a catalyst for the enlightenment of others. The trajectory is steady, full of challenges and rewards. The network of individuals you have influenced, whether directly or indirectly, grows and changes over time. In international communities, the seeds of courage and self-awareness that you planted start to sprout. They all work together in various ways to create a supportive and innovative workplace that is becoming more and more dynamic. For others who are still on the sidelines, reluctant yet drawn to the call of waking, you function as a beacon of hope and change, contributing to the excitement around the formation and growth of these communities. Stories of societal development and personal accomplishment blend together in this scenario, which is driven by common values and opens up a world of untapped potential and opportunity. You want to transform the meetings and sessions into forums for group learning where information is exchanged among all participants, not only between you and the others. By creating an atmosphere where everyone feels valued and heard, the celebration of vulnerability and compassion encourages greater risks and more daring advancements. You also understand the need of self-defense and balance throughout this endeavor. Although it takes constant effort and perseverance, being at the heart of a transformation network is gratifying, because you know that only by continuing to grow will you be able to really help and inspire others. You make a commitment to setting aside time for introspection, rejuvenation, and personal development. This dedication is a crucial reminder that awakening is never a singular or final experience. Rather, it is an ongoing process that affects every aspect of existence. When you adopt this viewpoint, you see the difficulties as opportunities to learn more about the world and yourself, rather than as obstacles to overcome. As the journey progresses, you start to think about how you might impact larger systems and structures rather than just local people and communities. More actively participates in initiatives that promote social well-being, transformational education, and sustainable business and living methods, all of which are guided by the idea of developing authenticity and purpose. The collaboration with other vision leaders broadens the scope of initiatives that at first seem unattainable, but with each little step forward, these concepts become real. You discover that perseverance and faith in people's capacity for innovation and adaptation can get them over even the most daunting challenges, despite the intricacy of systemic changes. His goal changes in a world that is becoming more dynamic and interconnected, but his core purpose stays the same: to encourage and empower others to realize their own potential. Its past turns into a crucial part of a larger tale of world change, in which every act of courage and every step toward genuineness adds to a more dynamic and harmonious whole. As a result, you keep pushing the envelope of what is deemed feasible and spreading the message of an awakening that is compassionate, loving, and equitable for everyone. One heart and one mind at a time, the world transforms as they recognize the light that their efforts help to illuminate. As you go, you must confront the unavoidable fact that not everyone is prepared, organized, or capable of accepting the change your presence suggests. They are unwilling to leave the comfort zone they have created over the years, despite its limitations, since it offers a feeling of stability and security. Its almost inadvertent presence serves as a mirror reflecting the limitations and barriers that individuals have erected throughout their lives. This may be unnerving, evoking feelings of vulnerability that many would rather not experience. The inner desire for growth, which often shows itself as resistance before any acceptance can occur, is then sparked by your energy. Her presence starts to question accepted normalcy. You start to pick up on the mutter of doubtful and denial-filled words and facial gestures. Resistance may take many forms, such as outright criticism, covert animosity, or just keeping one's distance. These responses stem from the discomfort brought on by the reflection that your influence forces upon others, which many are not yet prepared to confront, rather than from genuine dissatisfaction with you. Understanding how to handle this opposition is essential at this stage of your journey. Gaining a deeper understanding of human psychology enables you to develop more effective strategies for handling those who oppose change. Empathy turns become your best friend. It is feasible to interact with individuals in less threatening and more persuasive ways by being aware of and respectful of their uncertainty and concerns. You understand that letting people progressively feel the freedom that their beliefs provide is the key to beginning the process of transformation for many. Broader acceptance is often facilitated by offering tangible opportunities for people to see and feel the advantages of change on a smaller scale. By acknowledging little accomplishments and sharing the success stories of others who have taken this path, you may start to lessen resistance by providing inspiring examples of what is possible. His consistent but friendly presence therefore creates a dynamic that serves as a continual reminder of the possibility of change and rebirth. Slowly, its impact spreads to people's hearts and minds, not by coercion, but by a coherence that offers a different outlook on what life may be. Additionally, it recognizes that its goal is to create an atmosphere that allows those who are willing to change to thrive, rather than trying to convert everyone to its way of thinking. You may release yourself from the burden of being the solution for everyone and concentrate on supporting and nurturing those who choose to go on this journey by acknowledging that not everyone can accept this transformation. When you see that more and more people decide to go outside of their comfort zones because they are inspired to do so by you, you are reaffirming that although change may be risky for some, it is also an opportunity for many to find freedom and rejuvenation. Maintaining your path as a change agent not only enriches your life, but also contributes to the ongoing growth and advancement of a world that gradually starts to recognize the transformative power of authenticity and the courage to break free from its own limitations. As you go through this complex landscape of acceptance and resistance, you come to understand that, in order to fulfill your job as a change agent, you must constantly enhance your interactions and tactics. Recognize that every individual has a unique rhythm and path for being receptive to the concept of change. Finding successful methods to interact with people at various phases of their own internal trajectory is thus a difficulty. Set aside time to listen intently and make an effort to comprehend the worries and anxieties that each individual has. These discussions provide insightful information on the emotional barriers that often lead to resistance. With this information, you can modify your approach to directly address these issues and start a conversation built on mutual respect and understanding. You provide not just a motivating viewpoint to people who are open to discussion, but also useful resources and successful strategies that make change more approachable and less intimidating. It offers courses and retreats that focus on emotional intelligence, internal conflict resolution, and mindfulness techniques, skills that enable participants to start their own self-discovery journeys in a secure and encouraging environment. At the same time, you feel the need to surround yourself with a diverse group of mentors and allies, people who share your vision, but also contribute their own distinct perspectives and push one another to grow. Your efforts will have a greater effect thanks to this support system, which also helps you come up with fresh ideas and strategies. The atmosphere in which people live is gradually changing as more people become aware of the tangible benefits of stepping outside of their comfort zones and embracing new ways of thinking and living. Curiosity and a silent desire to discover the unknown are growing where mistrust and resistance formerly prevailed. People start looking for you as a source of inspiration and direction rather than as a threat. The path is lengthy and even exhausting, but every little step you take strengthens your will to keep going because you know you are making the world a more accepting place for creativity and individual growth. At this point in your path, you also give yourself permission to rejoice in the little victories and genuine connections you come across. Keep in mind that your purpose is evolving into a part of a larger movement that affects whole communities and beyond your individual activities. Like a ripple that becomes a wave, the change you advocate is slow and methodical, but obvious, altering situations and redefining boundaries. You strengthen your belief in the potential of waking with every pertinent encounter and open mind, not just as a catalyst for individual transformation, but also as a force behind more extensive structural and cultural change. Thus, keep moving forward while realizing that your presence signifies more than just a danger to one's comfort zone. It also portends a time when the whole potential of humanity will be realized in all its splendor and authenticity. As this movement gains momentum, you understand how crucial it is to build a network of influence and support to maximize the effect of your groundbreaking ideas. In addition to people who share their vision, this network consists of groups, communities, and leaders who are eager to apply the concepts of conscious transformation in their fields. You take part in strategic alliances that broaden the audience for your activities and words. As they realize how important it is to foster an innovative and genuine culture, businesses, educational institutions, and nonprofit organizations are starting to strive to integrate his philosophy into their organizational structures. By working with these groups, you help create initiatives and programs that incorporate awakening concepts into sustainable business strategies, community development policies, and educational programs. At the same time, you recognize how important it is to modify your procedures in accordance with the unique requirements and circumstances of every community or business. You encourage flexibility and the capacity to modify your strategies to fit the cultural, social, and economic uniqueness of the areas in which you operate, rather than sticking to a single plan. At this point, leaders start to appear in these groups and communities, and they start to stand out as symbols of waking because of their ideals. They work toward their goal of motivating and encouraging change in their local communities. In addition to increasing the movement's impact, this decentralization creates a strong, self-sustaining network of change agents who naturally and authentically share and spread their methods. Political and social practices also start to alter as a result of more interest and acceptance of the changes you want to advocate. In debates of public policy, ideas that were formerly seen as dangers are now recognized as workable answers to challenging issues, including environmental sustainability, mental health, and social inequity. As a consequence, these concepts get ingrained in institutional standards and cultural norms, producing a noticeable and long-lasting impact. By venturing into new areas and taking on more difficult tasks, you stay true to your core purpose, which is to awaken human potential, which is what really propels the most pressing and pertinent change in the world. Maintains a constant commitment to honesty and integrity, making sure that every move made and strategy used is consistent with its core values. As the movement develops, you reflect on the path taken with appreciation and humility. A new age of knowledge and human potential realization has been ushered in by what was first seen as a danger to comfort zones, but has since transformed into a powerful catalyst for a collective awakening. Your adventure is far from ended, however. Continuous learning and evolution become into a way of life, an unending cycle of growth that you enthusiastically embrace, rather than just a goal. The prospect of a day when every person, group, and organization may realize their full potential keeps you moving forward and serves as a constant reminder that, despite its seeming impossibility, real change is always possible and starts with every individual. One of us,